What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the post-game stream. Don't worry, it's not just going to be me. Joshua's going to be here. I'll add him when he shows up, so don't worry. We'll all be talking, but, we're going to go over all the different things. I see Benjamin, Chris Reed, and Alex Baldwin are all in the chat already, so shout out to you guys. Joshua's here. There we go. Perfect. We are all set.
All right.
Let's see. Once I get this situated. There we go. All right, we are all set. First kind of thing, I don't know, overall thoughts on the game or anything you want to get off your chest before more people get in here, because there's definitely going to be questions. I kind of want to save JK Dobbins for a few minutes until more people can join the stream, and then we can talk about that a little bit more.
I hope it ain't what I'm thinking it might be, man. I'm just hoping it ain't what I'm thinking it might be. Other than that, those two young men behind them, Williams and Nate, they definitely worked their behinds off. They showed that they could be, they showed that they can give you production. I love the fact that, yes, Tyler Huntley was not scared to go out there and throw that ball deep. Honestly, if he learns how to bring more air down and, hit the receivers on the down, he can, not only be a backup, but maybe as he grows as a quarterback, he can be a starter for someone's team later down the road for him. I like what I've seen out the wide receivers. Oh man, and Dalen Hayes. It's crazy how we started talking about him, and what he do? Swim and dip. He was doing that all night. I love what he was doing. So definitely a lot of good things we saw. It was crazy how we saw what was it? The tweet or someone said David Westry had to outplay himself out of a position on the team.
Yeah,
it was just a good matchup on the wide receiver that he was up against. The wide receiver got his number. That quarterback was pretty decent as well. He was throwing some good dimes. David Westry was just playing a little too tight. He wasn't playing the ball as he should have. But overall, I definitely feel like it was a good game. You definitely saw a lot of things. It's good to see Big Sexy out there on the field. It's also good to see that starting five offensive line too. For the regular season. I don't really agree with the Ben Powers, but I come from this. The Ben Powers move is because he's been in the league. Mm-hmm. They're not just going to throw a rookie out there just yet. That's just the Ravens' way in some of the things that we do. We're just going to ease them in. And this has been Cleveland's first preseason game actually of live action. So I get it.
Absolutely. In terms of offensive linemen, the Ravens have never been a team that draft an offensive lineman and just throw them out there. Orlando Brown took a few weeks before he was ever given the start. The only guy, I'm pretty sure they did give Ronnie Stanley, but if you're a top 10 pick, you should be starting right away. Yeah. No matter what position you play, you should be starting pretty early in. But welcome everybody into the stream. I see Vids is in here. What's going on, Vids? He says 20-0, absolutely 20 consecutive wins. Alex Baldwin says new record for the history books. Yeah, an unofficial record, because technically we don't know 100% what the record is, but unofficially the Ravens do hold the record now. I see Brad Johnson says both sacks were on Ben Powers. Look at the tape. I am very excited. I do want to I will be rewatching this game, and I'm definitely going to be paying attention to a lot of the things that it's harder to pay attention to when you're watching it the first time. Yeah. Offensive line, especially the starting unit, definitely something I'm going to be keying into. But, if Brad says they were both on Ben Powers, I was watching the Washington football team broadcast, so they were just – it was mad. It was a lot better than the Panthers one. It was definitely better than that. But
and to speak of the Washington football team, shout out to number 56, that defensive end. That young man or older guy, whoever, he did have a motor on him. He was going after Lamar and Tyler Huntley. He was out there definitely playing for a job.
Absolutely. And there's just under 50 people in here, so I figure it's time to talk about it. JK.
Listen, y'all saw the way that knee went? Yeah. Listen, I love my running backs, man, but y'all saw the way that knee looked?
It was, oh man, it's like, it didn't look good. Initially, I didn't think it was that bad initially before they showed the replay, because the way he was laying on the ground, it didn't look like a lot of times when you see those really bad injuries where it's like these guys look like they're in crazy pain. Like, it didn't look like that. Then as they showed the replay, I was like, oh, that doesn't look good. And then it was like, oh, he's really not really moving or anything like that. They're carrying him. He's not trying to hobble on it. The hope. What's scary is that the hope is that it was a hyperextension.
Yeah,
I think Ian Rappaport or Adam Schefter tweeted out saying like likely missing at least a few weeks, based on what the agent said as well. So, it's really tough. Obviously prayers up to JK. Hopefully he's okay.
yes,
I know a lot of people were really high on him. We were both very high on him. I love JK. I think he's an absolute beast. And you know, the benefit that the Ravens do have is they do have good running back depth. They use it. They don't rely on him. He's not a workhorse back by any means. So it will be running back by committee once again, which is what I expected. Even with JK, it was going to be JK and Gus, and likely a third running back sometime. So I fully expect the Ravens to continue that 2 or 3 running back look. It's just really hope that JK is able to be okay. But in terms of the impact that it has, I mean, Tyson Williams, I think, is guaranteed to make the team now.
Honestly, it puts a lot more pressure. It puts a lot more pressure on Gus. I mean, Gus. Don't get me wrong. He's ready. He's more than ready. He's been wanting this. I feel like he definitely deserved it. I feel like it is his time. Even though JK is the feature back, in my opinion, always. But when you put that pressure on yourself, and then you got the pressure of the organization on you, you don't know if it's good pressure or bad pressure. But the type of person Gus seems to be, he may turn it into good pressure. And y'all know the saying, pressure make diamonds. So I definitely feel like with the new chain around his neck and the new deal, I feel like he's gonna make a lot of diamonds this upcoming season. And then plus we got Williams, like McConnell said, Williams and McCurry. I feel like if we're looking at 2 months without JK, possibly Tyson Williams and McCurry will definitely step up and play their part and play beneficial roles to this offensive scheme.
Absolutely. And I know some people are questioning whether or not the Ravens could bring in some other players. I see Jay Will asks, will the Ravens bring in Todd Gurley? I know Le'Veon Bell is out there. I'm actually going to look up right now running back free agents just to see if there's any that are still available. But I don't think that the Ravens go after any of those guys, because McCrary and Tyson Williams both played very, very well. Ooh, an interesting one. Duke Johnson. That's an interesting one.
Actually, he's not bad, but at the same time, you got to think about it. We still have Justice Hill as a special teams guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I fully expect Justice Hill to make the team. I saw somebody ask that. I think it was Ryan, and he asked, will Justice Hill make the team? I still expect that. I don't expect the Ravens to go out and get somebody else to replace JK, because the Ravens, if you look at the running backs right now, Gus was undrafted, Tyson Williams was undrafted, Nate McCrary was undrafted, and Justice Hill was a 4th-round pick. So, overall, the Ravens are very good at finding players that weren't drafted that they can get and have them perform. And I think overall, that's what they're going to do. And Tyson Williams, I think, will do a decent job. I think he's ahead of, I hate to say it, I think he's ahead of Nate McCrary. Even though I think Nate McCrary played better this game. I just don't, just the way that they've used Nate McCrary, it just seems like Tyson Williams is the guy that they have, that they really like. But Nate McCrary, I don't know. We just didn't have a lot of running backs. Ben Mason started carrying the rock.
They worked him. They definitely worked him because he's on the bubble. I feel like like I said, unfortunately, we both love Nate, but the way it's looking like, Tyson is definitely has a secure spot on his team, which is something I'm really not mad about. He has that dog. He runs like he doesn't run like an actual dog, but he has that dog mentality in him, y'all. He runs hard and he doesn't give up. Nate McCurry, he's more of a patient back. He try to wait for the hole and then try to mix his move. Some in a sense of almost like a Barry Sanders type of style, or even Le'Veon Bell type of style, which is a good thing. So he is that change of pace type of running back, because you can use him in the pass game as well.
Yeah, I was very impressed by Nate McCrary's pass catching.
Yeah.
He was
Oh yeah.
very good all preseason. He was consistent catching the ball, going over the middle, coming out of the backfield. Tyler Huntley really seemed to like hitting him, and I think that's something that's very underrated in his game. I didn't see a lot of Tyson Williams, pass receptions. He did have a few. Don't get me wrong, he had some good receptions, but like they really utilized Nate McCrary in the receiving game, which was not something Saginaw Valley State ever did with him. But Steven asks, is Justice Hill our fourth best running back? No, I don't think so. I think he's JK's injured, so I guess he's our fourth. But I don't think like if JK is healthy, I think Justice Hill's the fifth best running back in the Ravens facilities right now. I think Nate McCrary is better than Justice Hill. I think Tyson
Absolutely.
Williams is better than Justice Hill when it comes to running the football.
Absolutely.
Now, I know that Tyson Williams was running with the special teams unit to start out the game. It could be that he's like, oh, let's see you in that Justice Hill role. I don't know. I still think Justice Hill makes the team, but I don't know. It's just very difficult to judge based off of this injury. We really can't make very good assessments until we know kind of the extent of the JK Dobbins injury, which will probably be released tomorrow. They're probably going to take him to an MRI, get the X-rays going. But I don't know, that injury just really threw a wrench in everything. But I gotta say, I don't think anybody should be mad at John Harbaugh or any of the Ravens staff for playing their players. I don't think that they should be mad at that at all. I think Lamar hasn't had a lot of practice time. You got to get those handoffs right. You got to make sure that you're all in sync. And, obviously it sucks that it happened, but at the same time, I don't think it was a bad decision to play him. Obviously hindsight, like right now, if you'd be like, oh, would you rather him not have played? Well, yeah, obviously now, but in the, with what we knew right then, we need to see him out there. And he looked really good. Unfortunately, things happen, but this is an interesting question by Ryan Waders. Tomlinson and Victor, did they do enough?
I can't say because Victor really just got to start going this last game. It was good to see what he can do after the catch, and it's also good to see, how he can catch contested balls. But I don't know. I just can't say.
Yeah, for me, Victor also was taken into the locker room. I think he was evaluated for a concussion.
Yeah.
He could be a guy that could potentially be an IR stash if he has a concussion. But like I liked what I saw out of him. He actually played very well. He was probably the I don't know. He was one of the most impressive receivers that the Ravens have had, and he played really well with Huntley. And I felt like he did that. Tomlinson, no, I don't really think Tomlinson will make the roster at all. The way that they've used Josh Oliver,
Right.
It's like Josh Oliver was in on like the third play of the game. Josh Oliver was in the game. He came in for Mark Andrews after Mark Andrews had that long sideline reception. Like, I really think it's just going to be 3 tight ends and then Pat Ricard. I don't think Ben Mason makes the team.
It was good to see him actually run the ball. It was good to see him run the ball.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. All of a sudden, I was like, wait a minute. They really don't have any bad running back, or you say bad running backs, but like bottom tier guys. But, I don't know. It's really, really interesting to look at how they constructed their team with the roster constraints and things like that. Like I was surprised that they only had 2 quarterbacks, but they were just like, yeah, we're just going to go with Huntley.
Yeah, I'm not because and honestly, I'm not about to say, oh yeah, I'm gonna stick to what I said. When Huntley gets going, he has a rhythm. We see what he can do. I feel like if he keep on working as a quarterback in this league, he can be a solid QB, maybe even a starter for a team for maybe a couple seasons. Who knows how his career may go? He definitely shows he can throw the deep ball, but he was getting he definitely knows how to keep the guys motivated, keep them in the game, keep it moving. He just gotta get that ball down. When he throws that deep one, we know you can throw that deep one. Just show me that you can lay it in the numbers in the breadbasket for our wide receivers. And Deion Kane, I know it's his first game back. He gotta grab those. He could have had some good catches.
Yeah, I don't know. I see Alex Baldwin says Williams did well with the number 1 guys. Washington didn't have their defensive line, which is the best defensive line in football. It was all backups, and I think that's tough to analyze. I don't know. It's very interesting to look at it, like just the way that they play and such, and how every team approaches the preseason. The Ravens approach the preseason to win.
Yeah.
I see Robert Jackson says Dion is cut, fellas. Yeah, Dion Kane really struggled. He
this is his first
struggled.
game back. I mean, he's been, hurt and stuff like that. It was good to see him run his routes and things of that nature. But, like I said, if he would have caught those balls, man, it probably would be a different story. But shout out to JP too. He showed that he belongs on the field. I love how he caught that touchdown over the defender. Even with the helmet ripped off, man. Like, hey, I'm here. Like, come on now. I like that. I like seeing that attitude transition over to our wide receivers. I miss that.
Absolutely. There was a swagger about them. They made plays and they made people know about it. And I think that's something that the Ravens really want to try and do is get players that'll get defensive backs mad, because that's what starts the holding. That's what starts the grabbing. And the Ravens have really just struggled a lot when it comes to drawing pass interference penalties. They are the bottom in the NFL when it comes to that. They're not going out there like, just force people to hold, because they're all kind of, or they've been in recent years, just like kind of quick, smaller guys that just try and run around you rather than trying to go right through you. Prochet was like, no, I'm not going to go around you. I'm going to go over you. And that's exactly what he did. And he had a great catch. Danity says Prochet had the Prochet catch had me off my seat. I was yelling. I was like, yes.
Man, listen. Robert Jackson, swag getting his penalized this season, though. It's another way to control the players. I really don't agree. With this penalty. Honestly, what this game is for gladiators. This is a high emotion sport. So to tell someone not to, bump hit they bang on their chest or yell or talk they talk after they, get a first down or a touchdown or even a tackle, sack, interception, stuff like that. I don't agree with it, but hey, this is the way the NFL is now shaping the way the game is supposed to be played. You're just supposed to, run for 20 yards and hand the ball off to the referee. Be professional, I guess. No emotions.
Yeah, I hate the rules. It's so lame. Just the way that they can't celebrate at all. Like, I don't know. I've always loved players talking. And they're just really trying to get away from that, and I don't understand. I saw like there was something from like a Giants coach or somebody like that was on the committee. It was like, yeah, we're just really trying to get away from all these players just not being professional and talking. Like, we don't want to see that. That's not what's good for the game. Talking to the other players, that's not good for the game. It's like, no, you're what's not good for the game. So I think I saw that from Simply as 10. So if you guys don't check out the Purple Rain podcast or, just his highlight videos, go check him out. Great stuff. But yeah, I saw he quoted that or something like that. And I was like, yeah, like get the people out that don't want football players to be physical, don't want football players to talk, don't want people to have, because if you look at boxing is a very violent sport, but I don't care how good of a boxer you are. If you can't talk, you're not exciting. You're not making good money. Mike Tyson made money off of talking. Muhammad Ali made money off of talking. How does Floyd Mayweather make his money? It's not because he's 49-0. It's not because he's not, well, I think now he's like 50 or 51-0, but he first retired at 49. It wasn't because he was, he was so good. It was like, no, because he went out there, talked his talk, and then backed it up. Absolutely. Have the players talk their talk.
90% mental, 10% physical. Come on now. Y'all know the deal.
Yeah, and shout out to Steven once again. Not gonna try and attempt the last name. But it says Washington didn't have their starting D line and still got to Lamar. How concerned are you about the O line, and do you think the EDC will bring in another lineman? Yeah, they got to the Lamar twice with the backup off defensive line.
They were covered sacks,
first game. Yeah, they were covered sacks. And one thing that I want to bring up that I tweeted about it. If you guys don't follow the Twitter, go check it out. I tweet during the games a lot. So if you guys don't want to get bombarded with tweets, then maybe don't follow it. But it's one of those things when you look at it, they probably didn't want Lamar to be running. I saw this a similar analysis to the 49ers and Trey Lance, where they basically say you have to remember they're trying to put the players in certain situations, and they probably were like, Lamar, we know what you can do with your legs. Why don't we test out these wide receivers? That's the position we're trying to see. We're trying to see the offensive line. We're trying to see the wide receivers. There wasn't any Lamar read options. That wasn't part of the playbook tonight. It was a pitch. It was straight handoffs. Like that wasn't part. They were like, it was not a focus to get Lamar to run the football. And so when Lamar's stepping up, like, yeah, he's trying to not get sacked. But at the same time, they're probably like, yeah, we don't want you to just take off. We want you to make those, see those opportunities, hit those players. How well can they do? And so I don't know how much of an impact that had, but Lamar getting chased down by defensive tackles because he's slowing down at the line of scrimmage, trying to slide swiping. It's different. And so I think that's something that plays a factor, but I'm still concerned about the interior. Ronnie played well. The JK injury was one of the most pitiful performances blocking wise I've ever seen in my entire life. I don't know what Bradley Bozeman was doing. Bradley Bozeman was the guy that got out for the screen.
Like just go forward. Don't run back. Just go forward. He kept on
he didn't touch the guy.
Yeah, he kept on trying to see where JK was going. No, man. You got two defenders in front of you.
Hit one.
One
got behind him, and then the other was in front of him, and he just kind of Bozeman literally just kind of squat down, and then the other guy was the guy that ended up clamping JK's foot because Bozeman didn't touch him. He just didn't feel like throwing that guy into the dirt. And I feel like if you were an offensive lineman and you see a linebacker in open space, or it might not have even been a linebacker, it might have been a corner or a safety, and he just doesn't lay him out.
Okay, my man Patrick, he's in the building.
Uh-oh. But I don't know, Joshua. How concerned are you? We heard from, I can't remember who said it earlier.
But Brad said about Ben Powers. Yeah,
Ben Powers was the guy on both sacks that got beat. So I'll definitely have to rewatch those. Definitely the first drive. But what do you think, Joshua? Are you concerned at all with the offensive line?
I definitely feel like it should be either Tyree Phillips or Ben Cleveland taking over for Ben Powers. Honestly, Bradley Bozeman, I know he's worried. He's more we know he can block, but he's more concerned about getting his snaps straight to Lamar Jackson. I mean, it was a most recent interview. Lamar talked about Bradley, how Bradley look, was that good? How did I do? Stuff like that. Bradley is pretty much he gets on himself before anyone else gets on himself. So he is his hardest critic, which is a good thing and a bad thing. Just be mindful, hey, just play football. Know your quarterback gonna get it, but be smart and get those snaps to him. Other than that, Zeitler, Villanueva, Ronnie Stanley, those guys look good. It's good to see those guys finally out there together, But as far as that left guard, definitely want to get Ben Cleveland in there more. I saw some good things out of Ben Cleveland as far as getting up to the next level, putting his body on a man, and I like Tyree Phillips as well at that left guard position as well.
Yeah, I think Tyree Phillips definitely plays better on the inside, from what we've seen. So him being the backup, I'm not too disappointed with that. Patrick says he liked Ben Cleveland. Looking at it, Cleveland looked like a juggernaut out there, good initial push. It's really tough, analyzing that just because he was playing against the bottom tier, and he was playing at a time where the Ravens got to the second half. The second half did not matter to them, especially the fourth quarter. Fourth quarter, there was no care in the world from the Ravens. There was no efficiency. They were not hurrying up. It was just let's get out of here. And I enjoyed the game. Fourth quarter, I was so bored out of my mind. I was trying to watch stuff. I'm like, let me analyze these quarterbacks. And I'm like, it doesn't matter. They're up by so much, and neither team is really trying at all at this point. It's over. It was not entertaining at the end. So, and that was when Ben Cleveland was playing, and so it was just the offensive line wasn't trying as hard. Yeah, they're playing hard. Don't get me wrong, but it didn't seem meaningful at all.
Yeah.
But Vid says it's all a process. This year we focused in on wide receivers and an edge rusher. Next year we load up on linemen to block for these weapons.
I can honestly see that. I mean, McConnell talked about it in the previous show, previous stream about getting a corner. If we move away from MP to Juice Man, I definitely can see those voids both being filled. I feel like we're good now, in my opinion, as far as tight ends. Defensive line like is going to get better. Broderick and Metabuke is going to continue doing what they do, and Dalen Hayes and Odafe and Tyus Bowers. I feel like those three could be the future. Those can be pro. Those three guys can be Pro Bowlers within the next years. I actually see Tyus being a Pro Bowler this year, low key.
Yeah, I think in terms of the draft, I think the Ravens, the only offensive lineman that they would take an offensive lineman, an offensive tackle in the first round. I'm not a believer in drafting guards or centers in the first round. So if a really good tackle is able to fall, or like I said in the previous stream, cornerback, I think that's where the Ravens do end
Yeah.
up going. But the way that I think where they got Ben Cleveland, where they got Orlando Brown, that's where you can find the good players. For example, Quinn Miners dropped into I want to say the third round this year. He was a very good center out of, I think, Wisconsin Whitewater is where he went to school. So there's a lot of guys that, end up falling. So we'll see.
I think Clemson and Notre Dame play next week. So I mean, is a VT in North Carolina play next week. Is a lot of good college matchups coming up. Penn State and Wisconsin next week as well. So you always get a good offensive lineman from Wisconsin. They breed them, literally.
Absolutely. And Iowa, that's where we got Marshall Yonda. Yep. The legend. Alex asked about Chris Westry. He looks solid. What are your thoughts? I like Westry. I think the Ravens do want to keep him. I think they would keep him over Nigel Warrior just because he has that versatility. I think he's somebody that you could possibly try out at safety at some point, but his size and speed is just more beneficial to have if someone gets injured, like just because the teams we're trying to beat have a lot of speed on them. And so having his speed, I think, really helps. But I don't know. What are your thoughts on Westry? Did he make it? Did he do his job well enough?
I feel like he put himself on a bubble, but he is going to be on a 53-man roster. I mean, he had a couple miscues. As far as I don't study cornerbacks like that. Me, I'm more of interior. I'm more on the interior type of guy. I'm more running backs. But there was a couple times where the wide receiver had a step over him. I feel like he jammed too early. He should have played back a little bit, and not play the wide receiver as much and play the ball more. Because that wide receiver that he was going against did have a step on him when he got that catch outside the numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. I think. Oh man, I see a great question from Benjamin. I don't want to go through all of the players or anything like that. That'll probably be tomorrow's video, or maybe we'll do it a little bit later. It just depends on the JK news, but we'll figure it out. But something that I thought was really interesting: Jalen Moore, a player that had been playing a ton in preseason.
Didn't see none.
I didn't see anything. I saw him on special teams on one play make a tackle, or maybe he didn't even get the tackle, but I saw him like on the field, and I was like, we haven't seen this guy at all. Like they used Victor, they used Prochet. Tylan Wallace was out there on the first drive of the game along with Devin Duvernay and not James Prochet. Like that was interesting that Jalen Moore, who had been like a guy that was playing the entire game, every preseason game, just didn't go out there really. I don't know if he got a single target. I'm going to check right now.
Honestly, I feel like they did it because the wide receiver room is just like the cornerback room. Because Anthony Avery was out there with the first team as well, and even Tavon Young was out there as well. It was good. It was good to see him out there get some reps as well. Hopefully, we can have him for the 17-game season. But what this wide receiver room is so packed, jam packed. You gotta switch it up to see who's going to do what. I mean, we have seen enough of Jalen Moore to see what he can bring to the table. So, to see like the Deion Kane, the Benjamin Victor, guys like him, even, I don't know his first name, but his last name is Gray, number 15. That was a good catch. That ball was on the money.
Devin Gray.
Yeah.
That was a good catch.
He reminds me of, what's his name? Michael Campanaro a little bit, just with that number 15.
Oh, no. Michael Campanaro was never a guy I wanted on the roster. I know some people
You
like
never knew
Michael
what you was going to get
Campanaro.
out of him. You never knew what you was going to get out of him.
Every time I saw Michael Campanaro on the field, I was like, oh no, it's not going to be good. But Patrick asked Le'Veon Bell or Gurley for the minimum. I don't think so. I don't think either of them. I don't think Bell would come to Baltimore. I don't think Bell would take a minimum. And Gurley's just such an injury risk that it would just take up a depth piece for somebody that just has significant knee problems, which is very difficult to judge. But Robert Jackson asked, when was the last time we had this many questions going into the season? I almost don't know what to really expect week one. I wouldn't think there's that many questions going into this season. I don't.
The only questions we got is,
I mean, like back end roster spots, but
yeah,
when I'm looking at like week one, I'm not looking at like, oh man, this cornerback 6 spot really like I don't think about that. Like the only thing that I'm looking at is offensive line, but that's just interior offensive line, and I'm not that. That's only one question that I really have. I don't know. Are there any other questions other than interior offensive line that you have?
So I guess the new question would be how long is JK going to be out? Who is going to be our actual starting wide receivers? But in offensive line, those 3 questions will be answered.
They're also the same questions we've been asking the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Like, who are the wide receivers? Will the offensive line be good? We've asked that every year.
Oh, sorry. And will we have edge rushers? How
that's true.
How would our defensive line look? Yeah, sorry, guys. Sorry.
Can we get sacks? That's something that's very interesting to look at.
Who's the swing tackle behind Stanley? I think it actually might be Patrick McCarry.
Ooh, McCarry? Yeah. I mean, it's him or Phillips. Phillips could just be that guy that they just have as the backup for every spot because they think he can play everywhere except for, center. I don't love him at tackle, but
he gets beat a lot.
Yeah, he does get beat a lot. It's just not very good. Vid says the only thing I want to know is the injuries. Exactly. I don't have too many questions going into this year, but
agreed. Honestly, I would rather have Hurst back. I think I would have low key took him over Villanueva.
I don't know. I still think Hurst is going to retire. So
yeah,
I don't know. Let's see here. RAW84 says, or Rue84 says, I'm overall pleased with the preseason minus the injuries. Yeah, I'm definitely pleased. I felt like we really got to see a lot of things. We got to see some good stuff from Pat. We got to see a lot of great stuff from Patrick Queen. Shout out to that blitz he had, earlier today. But Patrick Queen, we got to see that. We could see Malik Harrison. We got to see Tyler Huntley as a backup quarterback really shine and thrive. We got to see, the running back battles. It was one of the most, it was satisfactory preseasons the Ravens have had in a very long time, I would say. Like we actually learned a lot.
I definitely said they was competing, and man, I'm glad we ain't. I was hoping Jared Patterson would have got some good yardage, but our defense is all over him. I ain't mad at it. I know he's going to do wonders in the NFL.
I see something from Baltimore Luke, who says opponents scored 3 points and were 1 for 16 on third down against the Ravens over the final 6 quarters of the preseason. The defense was balling. The defense could not be stopped. And I think that's something that we can take into account because that's typically what happens in preseason. Typically, defense is ahead of the offense, but they were so good all preseason. Even the depth pieces, a lot of times you see in the preseason, it's like, oh, the starters really did well. And then all of a sudden the backups came in. It was like, oh, they are done. Like that's it. I think this is a great question from Benjamin. Shout out to Benjamin. Always asking great questions. But what player surprised you the most and disappointed you the most this preseason?
Disappointed me was Jake Verity. Like, what the hell? We're trying to trade you away. We're trying to get rid of you, man. We're trying to help you get on somebody's team, whether you do good or bad. I'm trying to get some picks. You disappointed me, man. What the hell? Um,
I love how you were just like, Jake Verity, man. We're trying to trade you.
I'm trying to get rid of your ass, man. Come on, man. You good trade bait. Somebody that actually surprised me, man. Geno Stone. Yeah, we talked. I'll say this: as far as safety, I mean, we know that he had one of the highest rankings going into that draft. Just actually seeing him being able to be out there and play and be around the ball, not just being on special teams. It was good to see him actually be around the ball, even though it could have been luck of the draw. Right place, right timing. Either way, he made a play. I would rather someone be at the right place, right time versus someone be draped on a man and not do nothing at all. So I definitely like what he can possibly bring to the team and how he may be able to be an addition in that safety room.
Yeah, for me, most surprised, I'm gonna say Tyson Williams. I know I talked a ton about Nate McCrary. I was not expecting Tyson Williams to just also dominate. Like both of them just played so well, and I think that's something that we can really look at. I want to say Josh Oliver, but I called it from the jump. Okay,
Yeah,
I've been in on this man since we traded a conditional 7th-round pick. The weapon has been that guy. All right. So I think that was the most surprising. In terms of most disappointing, I don't know if there's if there's been a player that I'm disappointed with their play. Okay, maybe Anthony Averett. Just like I really want him to take that step, and he just really hasn't done it.
He could be we know he could be a solid number 2. It's like, my guy, literally just work on your forearms and break the schnoz out of someone else's forearm, my guy.
Like, he needs those Inspector Gadget arms where he can just reach a little bit farther to get those swats and everything like that.
If Malcolm Butler can box out Chris Matthews, you can do it too. I'm not saying you are Malcolm Butler. Malcolm Butler is a Pro Bowl cornerback, but still, you guys are y'all about the same size. And Chris Matthews was a 6'3", 6'4" wide receiver.
Chris Matthews was 6'5". Fun fact. Working at Foot Locker. Love Chris Matthews. I see a lot of people being like, "Oh, I'm disappointed in Miles Boykin." We didn't see Miles Boykin. You can't be disappointed in Miles Boykin. He didn't play.
We know what he's about. A flex tight end.
I also saw somebody ask, I can't remember who it was, and they asked about Miles Boykin. What do we do? I think we IR stash him. He's injured. We can stash him. That means that we can keep him, and then he can try it next year. But he's been injured, and I just don't think that he's really gonna make the team. Having not really practiced very much, and how well that the other wide receivers have had, I expect him to be the guy. But I will say I have to go in like 10 minutes. So we still got 10 minutes, but just an FYI to everybody. So get your questions out fast. We're not going to be able to stream for 3 hours like we did that first time, which is wild. But YPC, any update on JK? No, there is not an update. Harbaugh said, they got to wait for the tests, and which is typically always the next day. So that's when we'll find out. And then what is your opinion on the trade with the Dolphins today? Good. Anytime you can get value for somebody that you would not keep on the roster is a good trade. Anytime.
Yeah.
And like getting a 6th-round pick for the 7th-round pick that we got in the Sean Wade trade, as well as, an offensive lineman that we were not going to keep at all. Definitely worth it. Very, very solid trade. Good move by Eric DaCosta. And then let's see here. I'm surprised that Prochet was this good. I mean, I don't know if that's preseason Prochet. I think that's more training camp Prochet, because training camp Prochet was the beast.
Yeah, absolutely.
Was 2019 draft the worst in Ravens history? I'm gonna pull up the draft so then we don't forget any names.
Thank you. I don't want to just shout out yes or no.
Yeah. So. Oh no, this is bad. This is so bad. This is probably it. Okay, so Hollywood Brown, good pick. Like the pick. I'm still happy with that pick. I still think that's the right pick. I know a lot of people love DK. They love AJ Brown, but at that spot, everybody knew right then, Hollywood was that guy. Everyone after is like a bad selection. Jalen Ferguson, yeah.
Okay.
Miles Boykin, yeah. Justice Hill, special teamer. I'll give him his props. Ben Powers.
Mm-hmm.
Iman Marshall, who's always injured. I like Iman Marshall. I loved him out of USC, but always injured.
I definitely feel like that's somebody that can get cut or IR.
Dalen Mack, the original Mississippi State, or no, Texas A&M. I think it was Texas A&M defensive tackle. And then Trace McSorley.
Okay. Yeah, that was Brad that asked that question? Okay, yeah. It's definitely up there. It's definitely up there.
Like the only we have two contributors, like real contributors on that, and it's Hollywood and it's Justice Hill. But Justice Hill is only a contributor on special teams, so it's really one major contributor in Hollywood.
Right.
So
someone just said it. Whatever year Perriman was drafted as well. I agree with that one.
Now I gotta look it up. Rashad Perriman draft. 2015 Ravens draft. Let's see here. I feel like there was a good draft that year, I want to say. Like, not Perriman, obviously, but I feel like they got some good guys. Oh, we drafted Zadarius Smith, Nick Boyle, and Darren Waller. Okay, that was a good draft. We just didn't utilize them at all. We really helped out the league with Darren Waller, Zadarius Smith. Oh, we drafted Buck Allen that year. Oh, yeah. Oh, rest in peace, Trey Walker as well. Rest in peace, Trey Walker.
He's definitely got to shine out. He was definitely about to ball out.
Carl Davis. Hey, Carl Davis is still on the squad. Okay.
Any at Pittsburgh?
No, never mind then.
Yeah.
Actually, he's in New England.
I know he's like 6'4", 6'5", big guy.
Yeah, big defensive tackle. And then Max Williams. Max Williams was rough. I like Max Williams.
So he was up and down. Like, was he another injury prone type of guy too?
I feel like he was. He was in and out a lot.
He definitely showed flashes that he could really be that, that pass catching tight ends.
Yeah. I always liked him. I always rooted for him, but then we ended up going with Hayden Hurst. And I see Benjamin asks, who's the biggest draft bust on the Ravens right now? So they have to be on the Ravens right now. Who was the biggest bust?
Justice Hill as far as the offensive side of the ball. Or Jalen Ferguson.
Huh. It's got to be Lamar. I mean, he just can't throw. They really expected him to be really good. He just wasn't. He's just terrible. Everybody figured him out in 3 years. Biggest bust. It might be Boykin.
He was next. He was next on my list.
Yeah, Boykin's up there.
I feel like.
Wait, no, it's Iman Marshall.
Okay.
Like he's still like
a game.
I know. That's the problem. Like, I really liked his game. I loved his film at USC. Just very physical, just handsy, tackler.
Yeah.
Just never got anybody. I see Shamil said Lamar Jackson should be scared. It's Tyler Huntley's season. Huntley's smarter, better thrower, runner. He's trying to egg on Patrick. Okay, we know Patrick's in the stream, and he's just trying to get him going. The end part is too uncalled for, and I bet he's vaccinated. That's too cold, man.
Love it, man. Y'all make us laugh all the time. Y'all over here, man. Come on, man.
Oh, man. Robert Jackson's like, kick Malik out. Nah, Malik's the best. He's literally there.
You know what, Malik? Speaking of Matt Elam, yes. We was very high on him coming out of the University of Florida. We definitely thought he was going to be like the next, I don't know. But, yeah, trash.
All right, guys, I think I can answer one more question. Joshua, if you want to keep the stream going, you can keep it going if you want. If not, we can end it. But
I just finished. I got food upstairs too. So
yeah, I haven't eaten all day. I'm incredibly hungry. I kind of realized it while I was watching the game. I was like, wait a minute, I haven't eaten at all. I'm like, oh no. So if anybody has one more question, we can answer that, and then we'll head out. But let's see here. Oh. Well, guess no more questions.
No, they just chatting amongst themselves, man. They chatting amongst themselves.
Let's see here.
Hey, Dro, I mean, why? As a defensive end, that's supposed to happen, my boy. That's supposed to happen. Duffy gonna get better by every game. Promise you that. Don't worry.
Regular season record 14-3. And why I say that is because I feel like it's similar to the 2019 schedule where it's not going to be like, oh, it's easy. It's every week's going to feel like a playoff game. And the Ravens always feel like they hit their stride when they're playing their best teams, other than the Chiefs. But they play the Chiefs early, they get it out of the way, and I feel like they can really go off and just take it to every team. But I don't know. What's your record prediction?
I'm gonna say 13-4 for the simple fact that I want us to be in the wild card and continue to hit the ground running. I don't want us to win all these games. I don't want us to get a bye week.
I don't think 14-3 gets a bye week. I think 15 wins gets that bye week.
Okay, good.
Because I think the Chiefs could pull out 15 wins.
Right. Cool.
And the Chiefs are tough, but all right. That's going to do it for this stream. Thank you, everybody, for coming in. Make sure to come back. Tomorrow, within the next couple of days, we'll have our 53-man roster prediction. Hopefully, it's tomorrow. Hopefully, we get the JK news. But thank you, everybody, for watching, and we'll see all of you again next time.